I'm a son of the coast, and I'm right here, hanging out on West Coast Radio, right here in Gambia. My name is AY. Enjoy the show, don't go nowhere.
Welcome back to the second half of the show, and if you just tune in, it's Gamnaija Entertainment, and it's all about exciting news. And I don't see it as a mourning. I see it as a celebration of life. We've been discussing about entertainment in Gambia, of course. Also, the memorial service that just took place today, in South Africa, precisely, of Madiba. Some will call it Nelson Mandela celebration of life. A single event that I've got the most gathering of head of states. Yes, royalty is talking about all the diplomats that you can think of. This everybody, they are all there, and it's one of its kind. Not alone in the building. We're discussing. It's a full house. I've got Soma, Gambian. I've got Engineer Ken, a Nigerian. It's all about Gamnaija connection. We are just discussing in the building. We're talking about the memorial service that took place today and everything that's happening out there in South Africa right now. How they're feeling, how they feel about it. And if you're out there, you also want to test us, you want to discuss about this, we'll give you the lines to send SMS to. But for the meantime, welcome back to the second half, Engineer Ken. It's good to have you on West Coast Radio. It's good to have you once again.
Thank you very much.
I know you're prepared to unleash, to tell us both things, what you know about world famous, not just Africa, world famous Madiba. So what's up? What are you telling us right now?
Well, Madiba, as is well known, and Nelson Mandela, he did a sacrifice. I think he's a Jesus of our own time, the black Jesus of our own time, because this is a man that sacrificed his whole life for the people of South Africa. And you can count on how many people could do that, as Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ came to the world, sacrificed his own whole blood for the sinners, for me and you, to get free, to get freedom, to see life, and to accept life. So this is exactly what happened to Nelson Mandela. But one thing good about him is that he forgives people. Nelson Mandela is a type of person, the people that pushed him to prison, when he came out of prison after 27 years, an election was conducted, he defeated them. And people were expecting him to get punished his opponents, the people that nailed him. But he said, no. He introduced a kind of government of reconciliation to bring everybody together and say, no, let's just forget about them. They have sinned and we have to forgive. We have to take on the biblical order.
Okay, that's Engineer Ken going emotional there. Suman Jai, you've heard what he said. I know you've got some things also to tell us about Madiba.
Absolutely, and Engineer Ken, your words really are correct. It's so right. His capacity to forgive and to lead the world by example is exactly what people today should be remembering. So thank you for saying that. This is the boy who grew up herding cattle in the hills of Transeki. He dedicated his adult life to opposing the policy of apartheid. This was for everyone, for every black or white person out there, to show that the world can be shared, that people should act together. And in fact, I do believe that President de Klerk was the person who, with him, shared the Nobel Peace Prize for bringing apartheid to South Africa and for showing the world exactly what could be done with unity and forgiveness. A lot of people knew that he went to prison, but as I was reading through some of the tributes and some of the information in his life, it really opened my eyes to what kind of man he was. You know, one of the inspiring quotes that he made was, "No one is born hating another person," and that's something that's important for us to believe and for us to understand when we are wronged. You know, from this village birth, he went to political activism, to prison, and he emerged after all of this as a world leader, someone that 91 heads of state, I think this is the most that have come together, even more so than the recent death of the Pope and other great figures, and 91 people, heads of state, celebrities, all kinds of people from every walk of life came to show tribute. There were people, tens of thousands of people dancing in the street in the rains, people who queued up all day so that they could come and pay tribute. It shows just what kind of a man it was, and things like, you know, April the 27th in 1994 was one of his crowning moments, when the day that South Africa finally held its first elections that were open to citizens of every race. That's a huge thing. He made so many changes. You know, he was loved and admired by the world all over. He's profiled in books and movies and all of that. One of the most touching things that I read today was something that his nephew said, and he was saying that even though the family has gone through waves of grief, sorrow and anguish after his death, but today more than any other feeling my family hold is thankfulness for that wonderful life. He says, giving thanks for the outpouring of respect from around the world. He said, the universal show of unity is a true reflection of all that Madiba stood for: peace, justice, unity of all mankind. And he says, let us pledge to keep Madiba's dream alive. And just as Desmond Tutu also said, that, you know, we promise God that we're going to follow the example of Nelson Mandela. This was said to loud cheers, and, you know, I mean, to such a great man.
It's very good. You know, that reminds me what he said in 1964 when he was being tried. He said, I have cherished the deal of democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. Absolutely. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. But who can do that today?
Everyone can do that. It's everyone is not willing to do that. That is the difference. So I mean, to that kind of strength, he does it for all of us. He leads us all in how we should be ready to lay our lives for our beliefs.
Sacrifice.
Yes, the sacrifice for our beliefs. I mean.
Yes. I want to quickly come in here. You know, he says that the president of Nigeria, before he left, you know, they declared 3 days money and everything. You know, he said something. He said, okay, let's use Nigerian context. He said there is no leader, including him. There's no in Nigeria. He said there's no. Mandela is just somebody. Everybody.
An exception.
Everybody is looking up to. You know, Christian Amopo, you know, she has interviewed virtually most of the leaders in this world. But there's something he said about Mandela. He said most leaders, but those ones, being it those that want to, you know, be there, and those, he said one thing they will always say, ask, who do you cherish? So they will say Madiba. So they respect Madiba. But who will not bear the cart? Who want to be like him? Who is ready to sacrifice like him? That is the question.
That is the question.
That's a sacrifice. Sacrifice indeed, sacrifice.
Absolutely.
The man really did more than I could do, because I don't know. I thank God. I think I expect God to change me so that I can forgive my nailers, people that nail me. Let me come out and forgive them, because it's not easy. Look, we can never know how much this was an image in him, and how much of how he was shaped and punished in that solitary cell. But we remember the gestures, large and small, introducing his jealous, the people that jailed him as honor guests. at his inauguration.
Of course.
Just look at it.
To prove to everybody else that this is, and Nelson Mandela, there was a quote that President Obama made in his speech that also stood out. Mandela reminds us that it always seems impossible until it is done.
Yes.
So the things that he did were the kind of things that, you and I can say, I would never be able to forgive someone who imprisoned me for 30 years. But until you do that, until you stand up and you live by these ideals, it shows that everything is possible. Everything is possible.
Yes, I quickly comment here. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people can't do it, but they really want to, but unfortunately they can't. I was privileged 2 weeks ago. I didn't know that this will happen. 2 weeks plus, I was in Soweto. I was actually in Mandela's in his house.
Okay.
I was actually there in Soweto, and I saw the place now is being transformed into a form of museum. When he came back, that was where he was before he went. Even there's some pictures when during Winnie, the wife, she was also very, very, very brave. In fact, there was some pictures then where she resisted arrest and fought. The people came out from Soweto, that neighborhood. They came out and fought for her. You kind of, you look at the other part of it. There's Mandela Family Restaurants. The place is always full of tourist people from different class, different race. You have this, people that will take you around the bedroom. Some of those things that he was holding. I was really touched. And when they are taking you around, telling you the story from his beginning, from the school, he was expelled in school. Then he's been that fight has always been there to rise up against
what he doesn't think is right, to speak out and say
he doesn't want to be oppressed. He doesn't, from onset, he's got that charisma. He's got that character in him.
Yeah.
So, I was really touched. I was privileged to be there. There was a feeling, I've got when I was there. But anyway, we celebrating life. We definitely celebrating life today, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy for him, and I'm sure a lot of people will try to emulate him. A lot of people, because that's one thing they were asking. I think Tony Blair was saying something about the good thing about Mandela right now. He said they've got somebody to emulate.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at figures in a particular society. You need to look up to somebody. But in South Africa right now, you got somebody you are looking up to. The question is, will you be able to make that mark, or will you go below that line?
Even Africa as a whole.
Yeah.
Even Africa as a whole. Because this is a man who sacrificed his soul comfort, youthful comfort.
His whole youth, 30 years,
You know what it is? For a youth, a vibrant lawyer of then, to forfeit all he could gain.
Yeah, my name is Julius the Genius. I will keep listening to West Coast Radio. I'm hanging out with my homeboy Adams on West Coast Radio. West Coast, baby. Adams.